What Caitlin Clark did, because so many eyeballs were on her, was she is a huge multiplier effect of that.
I see a lot of players wanting to go, in this offseason, a lot of players are going to want to go.
The Fever just dropped groundbreaking news by announcing a major free agent signing along with an astonishing blockbuster trade. Could this be the foundation for the next WNBA powerhouse?
Obviously, we've gotten right to work on the basketball side of things, preparing for 2025 as well. So it's been...
Or are these moves about to reshape the league for years ahead? Imagine this: Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and now another key player joining forces. Who is it? And how will this impact their championship dreams?
Who potentially could be in their plans? Like, obviously, Satu Sabali is a potential player who you can get via.
Let's dive into it, because the Indiana Fever have just shaken the WNBA to its core. If you're into basketball, you know how rare it is for the offseason to generate this level of excitement. Yet the Fever managed to pull off not just one, but two transformative moves. This isn't merely about filling roster gaps. This is about assembling a team that can truly contend and dominate.
Number one priority for us is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. I think that backcourt was about as lethal as we've seen in the WNBA, and I'm talking maybe...
Here's the scoop so far. The Fever revealed a significant free agent acquisition that has everyone buzzing. For weeks, they've been dropping subtle hints about big plans, and now the news is official. They're bringing in a player who perfectly complements their already impressive core of Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull. The team chemistry has been strong, but this new addition is a game changer. Someone capable of elevating the entire squad's performance while aligning seamlessly with their playing style. But that's not all.
So I think as we're looking to free agency, we'll think about veterans coming in with that playoff experience. But, you know, what a foundation in Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, back-to-back rookies of the year, players playing together that can really do something special for the long term. And obviously, as we get into free agency, the number one priority.
Alongside this signing, the Fever executed a blockbuster trade that has fans absolutely thrilled. Trades in the WNBA don't always dominate headlines, but this one does. It's not just about acquiring talent, it's a declaration. The Fever are telling the league, we're not here to compete, we're here to conquer. And honestly, it's long overdue. For too long, Indiana has carried the label of an underdog, consistently rebuilding and making gradual moves. But this time, they're fully committed.
Phoenix, you have a lot of experience in professional sports, women's professional sports. How does that impact you here as you get ready for...
Their free agent addition is a forward with remarkable versatility. Someone who can shoot from the perimeter, grab rebounds, and guard multiple positions. In today's faster, more dynamic WNBA, such a skill set is invaluable.
Players that fit with the system Stephanie wants to have on the floor. Offensively, we were pretty efficient last year. We need to improve on the defensive end, which I'm sure Steph agrees with. So we'll continue to look at those, 3-and-D type players that can get out and run, but can also get back and help us on the defensive end, really improve on that side of the ball too. But fit is the most important thing. You got to have somebody that can run up and down the floor. And
as for the trade, it brought in a guard with exceptional speed, agility, and court vision, qualities that can transform a solid offense into a spectacular one. This player understands how to create opportunities, read defenses, and elevate teammates' performances. Of course, these strategic moves didn't come without sacrifices. The Fever had to bid farewell to some beloved players to make this happen. It's never easy to part with players who've significantly contributed, but tough choices are sometimes necessary for progress. From what we hear, the management was very calculated, evaluating not just statistics but also team dynamics, potential growth, and locker room impact. Fans are already speculating about what this could mean for the next season. Are the Fever now serious contenders for the title? Can they finally establish themselves as one of the WNBA's elite teams? On paper, the talent is undeniable, but as we know, championships are won with execution, chemistry, and clutch performances. That said, from an outsider's perspective, it feels like the Fever are making all the right moves. Their recent actions are creating waves, not just in Indiana, but across the league. Players, coaches, and analysts are taking notice. Teams who were preparing for an entirely different Fever lineup now need to reassess their strategies. Analysts are revising their preseason predictions, and fans of rival teams are beginning to view Indiana as a legitimate threat. What does this mean for the rest of the league? For starters, it raises the stakes. Teams at the top must now be wary of Indiana closing in on them. For those still in rebuilding phases, it's a stark reminder that standing still is not an option. The Fever's moves serve as a wake-up call, emphasizing that the WNBA is more competitive than ever. While we're still waiting for finer details, like contract terms and how these new players will fit into the system, it's evident that the Fever aren't settling for improvement. They're aiming to be the best. And if you're a Fever fan, the future looks incredibly exciting. The Fever's newly appointed general manager, Amber Cox, has been a revelation since taking over the position. She's made it crystal clear that mediocrity is off the table. Every interview and public statement she's given has been full of ambition. Cox doesn't just want the Fever to compete, she wants them to dominate. And that's exactly the mindset this team has been missing. So how does this reflect in the moves they've made? Let's start with the free agent signing. While the Fever haven't officially named the player, all indications point to Satou Sabally. If you've followed her career, you know she's a transformative player. At 6'4", she's a forward with skills more typical of a guard. She can shoot, pass, and defend at an elite level. Sabally's versatility makes her a nightmare for opponents, and pairing her with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston could be a masterstroke. Think about what this trio could achieve together. Clark's playmaking, Boston's dominance in the paint, and Sabally's ability to stretch the floor create endless offensive possibilities. Opposing defenses won't be able to concentrate on just one player, as each can dismantle opponents in unique ways. It's the kind of firepower that keeps opposing coaches up at night. But Sabally's value isn't limited to her skills on the court. She's a proven leader who can inspire teammates and set the tone for a young Fever squad. Having someone like Sabally brings invaluable qualities, experience, composure, and a winning mindset, all crucial for taking the next big step. Now, let's look at the blockbuster trade. While the Fever haven't disclosed all the specifics, they reportedly traded some future draft picks to acquire a dynamic guard. The most likely candidate? Aerial Powers. If true, this is another big win for Indiana. Powers thrives under pressure. She's quick, creative, and a playmaker who knows how to get results. Adding her to the roster gives the Fever another significant weapon. What makes Powers particularly exciting is how well she could complement Caitlin Clark. Both possess high basketball IQs, and their playing styles seem designed for synergy. Clark's vision and passing could unlock Powers' potential, while Powers' shot-creating ability could ease some of the offensive burden on Clark. It's a win-win scenario that could make the Fever one of the league's most dynamic offensive teams. Of course, these moves came with sacrifices. Saying goodbye to veteran Temi Fagbenle was a tough decision, especially given her leadership and impact during last season's late playoff push. Her absence will be felt, but sometimes you need to part with good players to achieve greatness. That's precisely what the Fever appear to be doing. Fans have had mixed reactions to Fagbenle's departure. While there's sadness in losing a player beloved by the fan base, there's also excitement about what these new additions could mean for the team's future. It's a bittersweet moment, but most supporters agree that the Fever are heading in the right direction. Now, let's zoom out and consider the broader implications for the WNBA. The Fever's moves serve as a wake-up call to the rest of the league. Teams sticking to the status quo are realizing they'll need to step up. For fans, this is exactly what's needed: a more competitive league with thrilling games, compelling narratives, and increased attention for women's basketball. This offseason is setting the stage for a potential power shift. The WNBA has long been dominated by a few top teams, but the Fever are positioning themselves to challenge that hierarchy. If their moves succeed, we might be witnessing the beginning of a new era in the league, with Indiana as a perennial contender. For the Fever's loyal fan base, this is a turning point. Success on the court brings more ticket sales, merchandise, and national attention, creating a buzz that spills beyond basketball. With stars like Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and potentially Satou Sabally leading the charge, the Fever are poised to become one of the league's most marketable franchises. That said, there are still questions. How will the new players adapt to the system? What adjustments will the coaching staff need to make? And most importantly, can this roster meet its sky-high potential? These are questions only time can answer. But one thing is certain, the Fever aren't backing down. Amber Cox and her front office are taking bold risks, and they just might pay off in the form of a deep playoff run, or even a championship. The focus now shifts to execution. With the pieces in place, the team needs to build chemistry and refine their strategies. How will Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and their new teammates gel on the court? The Fever's coaching staff has their work cut out for them, but with such a talented roster, they also have the potential to play electrifying basketball. Adding players like Satou Sabally and Aerial Powers gives Indiana a versatile, dynamic lineup. Picture an offense fueled by Clark's playmaking, Boston's presence in the paint, and Sabally's floor spacing ability. Add in Powers' shot creation, and you've got a team capable of scoring from anywhere. But it's not all about offense. Defense wins championships. Sabally's defensive versatility and Boston's rim protection will be critical. If the Fever can lock down opponents while maintaining their scoring prowess, they'll be a nightmare matchup for any team. The ripple effects of these moves are being felt across the league. Rival teams are reassessing strategies, and the WNBA's competitiveness has reached new heights. Fever fans, after years of rebuilding, finally have something to celebrate. Ticket sales will soar, and the buzz around this team will only grow as the season approaches. So what's next? Training camp will be crucial for setting the foundation. It's where chemistry is built and game plans are fine-tuned. The regular season will bring challenges, but the Fever have every reason to be optimistic. In the end, this offseason isn't just about building a competitive team, it's about crafting a legacy. The Fever are ready to compete at the highest level, with no intention of looking back. Now it's your turn. What's your take on the Fever's moves? Are they championship-bound, or is there still work to be done? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more updates. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.